Hey, it's Frank here from NeverColdCall.com, and I want to give you a great piece of sales advice I learned from an article about dating tips of all places. Now, I get tons and tons of magazines in the mail, and while most of them only get a quick scan for one or two interesting articles, Men's Health happens to be one of the two or three that I actually read cover to cover, which is exactly what I did this past weekend. And even though I'm mostly interested in the fitness and nutrition articles, I read one about how women have become so empowered in today's world that it's now actually more common for a single woman to approach a man and ask him out on a date than it is for a man to approach a woman. But that's not the big news. The real eye-opener is this. Women report that they are far more attracted to a man they approach and ask out than they are to a man who approaches them. Now, this astounded me because it's so opposite of the common belief that men are supposed to approach women. But what's even more interesting is how this applies to sales, and particularly to my favorite topic, cold calling. At a recent presentation, I taught a group of salespeople how to use a by referral only method of selling to attract new prospects, and it works. When someone looks at your business card or your website or your marketing pieces and they see the words appointments by referral only, you instantly appear to be highly desirable and of higher value than your competitors. Likewise, when a woman must approach a man, he seems more desirable even if he really isn't. It's the perception that matters. For all she knows, he may have been about to get up and approach her, but the fact that she made the approach is what counts. It sets up a dynamic where he has the higher social status in the situation and will therefore appear more desirable. As a salesperson, it's imperative that you keep this dynamic always in mind. You need to think of ways and means to create the perception that the prospect is actually approaching you or requesting that you work with them instead of the other way around. Cold calling is the perfect example of how not to go about this. When you make a cold call, it's an overt approach and one that makes this dynamic work against you. It immediately puts the prospect on the plus side of the value equation and you on the negative. But what if you have to cold call? What if you don't have a referral network yet? Or even worse, your boss says you have to cold call. Don't despair. There are ways to go about this intelligently. For example, even if you must cold approach prospects, you can do it in the way that doesn't seem like a typical cold call. One good method is with social media. Create a list of target prospects, something you should be doing regardless of whether you're cold calling or not, since calling strangers completely at random is never a good strategy. Now, once you've got your list of target prospects, do your homework and find out who the decision makers are. Once you've done that, you can look them up on LinkedIn and Facebook. Look for common interests or areas of common ground you can use to initiate a contact, and then connect online. You create the perception that the prospect is starting the sales process. In their mind, they're the ones saying, give me a call or shoot me an email once you've established a connection. So forget about traditional cold calling, which doesn't put any value on you, and instead begin looking for ways to begin the communication with prospects in a more indirect way. What you'll find is that they put more value on what you have to say, and your closing rate will go up dramatically. And when you're ready to do that, when you're ready to start learning the cutting-edge, information-age strategies and techniques that will show you how to stop cold calling forever, go to NeverColdCall.com, where you can get a free 37-page preview of my Never Cold Call Again system.